How far would you go for victory? What would you sacrifice to be a champion? We always cheer, scream, get excited, but we never stop to think about the price that some victories really cost. There is a small town in Texas where football is more important than life itself, and there they have a secret weapon for the most important game of the year. A 12th player that the opponents can't see, and who they can't escape. They call him Tackle Tom, the hometown hero who died on the field 50 years ago. The problem is he never left. They say his ghost returns every year to make sure the home team wins. But his help isn't just a lucky nudge. His help comes in the form of unexplained accidents. Knees that bend the wrong way, cars that mysteriously break down, players who trip over their own air and never get up again. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of the boy who was forced to play for this team. The boy who started seeing the shadow in the hallways of school and on the field, and who had to discover the terrifying truth behind his team's victories. So turn off the lights, turn up the headphones, because after today you'll never watch a football game the same way again. That's the price of glory in Oak Haven. It's one of those stories that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, you know? A legend that the people of a small town in Texas swear up and down that it happened. So take a deep breath and let's go. Imagine a place called Oak Haven. It's not a big town, no. It's one of those really small towns where everyone knows everyone else, and the red Texas dust sticks to the soles of your shoes. In Oak Haven, people's lives revolve around one thing, a passion that's almost a religion. The school's football team, the Oak Haven Bulldogs. Friday nights are sacred. The stadium lights shine so brightly that it looks like the sun in the middle of the night, and the whole town dresses in blue and white to cheer for their boys. To them, those players aren't just teenagers, they're heroes. And the most important time of the year? Oh, that's homecoming week. Imagine a giant party that lasts the whole week. There's a parade with a float. The whole school is decorated with ribbons and balloons, and the girls wear huge bouquets on their chests, full of bells and bows that their boyfriends give them. It's a very serious tradition, all of this to prepare the spirit for the main event. The big game on Friday and the dance on Saturday. It's the heart of the year at Oak Haven. But homecoming there has a dark secret, a legend that grandparents tell their grandchildren more to scare than to warn them. The legend of Tackle Tom. The story is old, from about 50 years ago. Tom was a player like no other, a giant, strong, as a bull who played defense and hit his opponents as if they were brick walls. That's why he got the nickname Tackle, which means tackle, the act of knocking down an opponent. On the night of the homecoming game, the final was super tight. The score was tied and there was only 1 second left on the clock. The opposing team was one step away from scoring a touchdown and winning. That's when Tackle Tom, with all his strength and courage, ran like crazy and made the tackle of his life. Boom. The sound of helmets crashing echoed through the stadium. He did it. The opponent went down, the referee blew the final whistle, and the Bulldogs were champions. The whole city chanted his name. But Tom didn't get up. He hit his head, so hard that right there on the grass he said goodbye to life, like a hero who gave everything for his team. Sad, right? But here's where it gets scary. Legend has it that Tom's spirit never left the stadium. Every year during homecoming week, he returns, a ghost in his old uniform, wandering the field and the hallways of the school like a silent guardian. And he has one mission: to do everything, absolutely everything, so that the Bulldogs win the big game, no matter what the cost. Now that you know the legend, let's get to our story, which happened not too long ago. This year, the Bulldogs team was incredible. The main star was the quarterback, the guy who throws the ball, named Caleb. He was the complete package, strong arm, movie star smile, and he was dating the head cheerleader. His future was written in the stars, but every hero has a shadow, and Caleb's shadow was our guy, Ethan. Ethan was the backup quarterback. A good kid who trained hard but nobody really noticed. He was always there on the bench waiting for a chance that seemed like it would never come. Homecoming week started with all that joy. The city was celebrating, everyone was excited. But on Wednesday, during the last practice before the game, something very strange happened. It was a silly play and practice was almost over. Caleb ran with the ball, with no one even close to tackle him. And then out of the blue, he tripped. It was as if an invisible trip had caught him. He landed crookedly and his cry of pain cut through the air. His knee had turned. The doctor shook his head. Caleb's season was over right there. The silence in the stadium was heartbreaking. The hometown hero was down. And the whole weight of the world, the whole dream of Oak Haven, fell all at once on whose shoulders? Ethan. The boy on the bench would have to lead the team in the most important game of the year. That night, sleep would not come. Ethan, nervous, went to the school field, to try to calm down, to get a feel for the place. The stadium was completely dark with only the moonlight illuminating the grass. That's when he saw it. Right, in the middle of the field on the 50-yard line, there was a person standing. A tall, broad-shouldered figure, wearing a uniform that looked like something from an old movie, with a leather helmet. Ethan blinked hard, thinking it was just his tired head. When he opened his eyes again, there was no one there anymore. It's the stress, he thought, trying to convince himself. The next day, the news came. The best player on the opposing team, the Stallions, a super-fast runner named Marcus, was on his way to Oak Haven when his car had broken down inexplicably in the middle of the road. The mechanic said he had never seen anything like it before. It looked like the wires in the engine had melted by themselves. Marcus was fine, but he wasn't going to make it to the game in time. What luck for the Bulldogs, huh? But Ethan couldn't stop thinking about it. The invisible trip on Caleb, the melted engine of Marcus's car, and the figure on the field. The pieces started to fit together in a scary way. Late that afternoon, he was walking through the gym and passed an old part, full of dust and old trophies. He saw a metal cabinet that everyone said had been locked for years with the door slightly open. Curious, he opened it. Inside, there was only one thing: a dusty leather helmet and a yellowed photo of a team from long ago. He picked up the photo. In the center stood a young boy with a serious, intense look in his eyes. And underneath, handwritten, "Tom Tackle, Tom Miller." The air turned cold. The story wasn't just a frightening legend for little kids. Tackle. Tom was real, and he wasn't helping, he was hurting people to ensure victory. The night of the game arrived. The stadium was like a living monster, pulsing with the screams of thousands of people. Ethan's stomach was churning. He didn't want to win like that. The game was tough. Even without their best players, the Stallions were brave. Midway through the second half, their quarterback threw the ball. The receiver ran all alone for what would have been an easy touchdown. He was going to score, but then, just steps away from winning, he fell. He tripped over his own foot, or rather, a foot that wasn't there. He fell screaming. His ankle was broken. The Oak Haven fans cheered their unbelievable luck. But Ethan on the field saw it all. For a blink of an eye, he saw a shadow, a translucent figure, right where the player had fallen. It was Tom. The end of the game was coming. The score was, at last play, The Bulldogs had the ball. It was Ethan's chance. The coach called out the play. Throw the ball to Michael. He'll be wide open in the end zone. This is your chance to be the hero, kid. Ethan walked onto the field, his heart pounding. He got into position. He looked at his receiver, Michael, who was running toward the touchdown zone, and then he saw it. Next to Michael, running along almost like a bodyguard, was the ghostly figure of Tackle Tom, ready to clear the path, ready to take down whoever got in his way. Ethan had the ball in his hands, the fate of the city, the glory. All he had to do was throw it. If he threw it, Michael would score. The Bulldogs would be champions, and he, Ethan, would be the greatest hero of all. But he looked at the opposing player who was running to mark Michael, and he knew. He knew that if he threw that ball, Tom would knock that kid down. Another accident, another injury, another victory stained with pain. And then Ethan did something that no one understood. With the entire stadium silent, waiting for the hero's throw, he held the ball tightly and started running backwards to the wrong side. He ran and ran, away from victory, away from the ghost. He threw himself to the ground just as the clock hit 0. Game over. Tie. The stadium, which had been all noise before, went silent. A heavy silence of disappointment, and then the boos. The entire city booed the kid who refused to win. They called him a coward, a failure. Ethan walked off the field with his head down, passing all those people who looked at him angrily. But when he passed the place where the ghost used to be, the cold air was gone. For the first time, he felt warmth. He never became a legend in Oak Haven. But years later, when they went to renovate the stadium, the workers found something buried, deep in the grass. A scratched silver medallion with the letters TM engraved on it. It was Tackle Tom's good luck charm, which he had lost on that last fateful play. After the medallion was found, it is said that Tom's spirit finally found peace. Ethan never told anyone what really happened that night. He let them think the worst of him. But he knew the truth. He knew that sometimes the bravest victory is choosing not to fight. It is choosing to do the right thing even if the whole world calls you a loser. And that, my friend, is a courage no ghost can take away from you. Now, you can turn on the light. Or are you afraid of who might be out there in the dark with us? The official legend of Oak Haven says that with the medallion found, Tackle Tom's soul finally rested. A beautiful ending. Perhaps too beautiful. But I ask you, do you believe it? Do you believe that a fury that lasted 50 years, a spirit so obsessed with victory that it broke bones, would be calmed by a simple piece of metal? Or is he just quiet, waiting for the next homecoming, for the next player desperate for victory, someone who doesn't have the same strength as Ethan had, someone who, when the time comes, will throw the ball? The truth is that stories like this remind us that behind every great victory, every celebrated tradition, there may be a dark secret. And the most chilling question of all, I leave for you. If you were in Ethan's shoes with the entire stadium chanting his name, with the chance to become a hero, would you throw the ball? Be honest. Leave your answer here in the comments. I read them all. Legends like Tackle Tom are everywhere, hidden in the shadows of our own reality. If you enjoyed this trip to the dark side of the sport, and are brave enough to face more stories, then join our spine-chilling community. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any stories. And if you think you can handle it, there's another story waiting for you to discover right here on this card. Thank you for your company tonight. Sleep well, if you can.